Understanding the marketing psychology that goes behind Facebook advertising can not only help you understand how to create better and higher converting ads for your own brand, but it can also help you diagnose and understand why is it that some of the ads that you're currently running might not be working. In this video, we're going to take a look at what is it about a Facebook ad that actually makes it convert, some of the marketing psychology. And before we jump into the psychology, we'll also kind of define where does Facebook advertising fit into the overall picture when it comes to marketing psychology, and that's going to help us understand what elements we need to include in our campaigns. My name is Jack. For those of you who don't know, I'm the founder here at Scenarius. We're a marketing agency based in London that helps e-commerce brands set up effective campaigns on Facebook and Instagram. And as I said in this video, we're going to be talking about a little bit about the marketing psychology behind Facebook ads. But again, we must first understand that Facebook ads, for the most part, fall under what's known as direct response marketing. Direct response marketing has many definitions, but essentially it's a type of marketing designed to elicit an instant response by the consumer by encouraging prospects to take a specific action, usually to a pre-selected consumer. That's different from general advertising that you'll see on a TV for example, where the brand is trying to create awareness. Instead, in Facebook and Instagram, what you're trying to do, mainly for e-commerce, for example, if we take that as an example, the main objective of a Facebook ad there is to get the user to stop scrolling, look at the ad, click on the ad, and go to the website and end up making a purchasing decision. So what is it about Facebook ads that make them convert? So we're going to be talking about 5 elements here, and I have a presentation ready for you that's quite detailed, so feel free to pull out a notebook and take some notes. I've also compiled quite a comprehensive list of examples so that you know exactly what I'm referring to. So the psychology behind Facebook ads, and the way I've split this up is I'm going to talk about 5 elements that a consumer needs to look at or a Facebook ad needs to include in order to allow the consumer to get to a point where they're able to make a purchasing decision. So the first one we're going to talk about is one that's likely the most familiar to many people, and it comes very intuitively, and that is speaking to a certain pain point or problem that the consumer faces. As you can imagine, most products that are sold on Facebook and Instagram are created to solve a specific type of problem. And when you're able to highlight that problem and showcase how your product actually solves that problem to the consumer, you're going to create intrigue and interest that's going to end up in the consumer buying one of your products. So, for example, for stretching products, for back pain, for example, being able to highlight the different sources of back pain or actually showing people in back pain is going to resonate with the audience psychologically, in the sense that they're able to relate to that pain point, and it's going to stop them from whatever they're doing, stop them from scrolling and paying attention. In skincare, for example, things like acne, eczema, things that people suffer from on a daily basis, you can always highlight. But one thing you always need to keep in mind with skincare specifically is you need to be very aware of Facebook's policies around mentioning specific diseases. So that's something you need to keep in mind. But again, in general, what we're talking about here is addressing a specific problem that your consumer has and how your product actually solves that problem. Foot massager, addressing cramps, pain from heels. Mosquito killer, for example, think about mosquito buzzing in your ear. That's kind of the pain point, what the consumers suffer from. And when you're using this angle in your advertising, what you want to use is rationale and scientific knowledge to demonstrate expertise about the problem. So make the consumer feel like you know their problem better than anyone else, and you're very likely to get them interested in your product or brand. So examples of what this looks like, again, I've compiled a number of examples from varying different industries, different types of products, to really give you an idea of what this looks like. So the ad on the left, this is a skincare brand right here. So again, they want to highlight some of the problems that their products address, and they do that in the beginning of the ad. So again, very simple ad right here, but you noticed how they started with the problem in mind. If you're someone who suffers from those problems that they mentioned in the beginning of the video, which are dark spots, hyperpigmentation, and whatever else they mentioned, you're going to obviously resonate with that marketing message, and it's much more likely to intrigue your interest. So the next example is of a brand that does kind of modular closet designs to help kind of organize your closet and other items that you might have. So they do a really great job of highlighting the problem in this ad as well. So I'm just going to repeat this just so that you can get a glimpse of the initial first few seconds of the ad. Notice how they call out the problem right at the start. So tired of messy clothes cluttering your life, and they have some video to kind of expose that, showcasing different cluttered setups, which most people can resonate with, because most people's closets kind of looks like this, right? The clothes are everywhere, and so people can actually relate to this. Okay, so the next thing that we want to talk about is social proof. So perhaps you've been able to speak to the customers' pain points, but one thing that's also really important as human beings is the fact that we are social creatures. And so whenever we hear marketing messages, we're always trying to substantiate those claims by understanding if other people feel the same way about this brand, do other people like that product? And people are just skeptical by nature, especially when you look at Facebook and Instagram advertisers. There's a lot of people who are a little bit hesitant from buying from brands who advertise on Facebook and Instagram. Some people have had negative experiences from buying from brands who advertise on the platform. So you want to do a lot of work in your ads to increase social proof, increase the trust the consumer has with the brand. And again, no matter how grand your claims are, how well you claim to solve the problem for the consumer, if your claims are not substantiated by social proof from other people or trusted establishments, then they have no grounding, and it's going to weaken the overall marketing message. It also goes beyond the advertisement. So when you're advertising on Facebook and Instagram, the ad itself is connected to your Instagram page, it's connected to your website. Do you have reviews on the website? Have you been featured in any major magazines? All of that is really important when you're creating your Facebook and Instagram advertising. Are you working with different influencers? I can speak from personal experience here as well. When I look at a brand, for example, I'm really into fashion. If I find a brand that's on Instagram, for example, I'm always going to look at their Instagram, see if there's any other influencers that I'm aware of that have featured some of their products in their YouTube videos, on their Instagram pages, and then I can feel that at least I can trust the brand, and I can feel like that other people also like the products as well. So that's really important. So examples of this, I have two examples, one from a skincare brand and one from a clothing brand right here. And you can see how they use different ways to incorporate social proof by using a lot of user-generated content right here, which I talk a lot about on this channel. Okay, very simple ad right here, straight to the point, but what you notice, a lot of social proof by showcasing many different women with different body types using the products, and then they feature some reviews right here. This is another ad, skincare brand, Gleeman. They use social proof really well here as well.
I'm really excited to show you guys the results because it's insane. It's low time and they weren't finished.
So again, the majority of this ad consists of other people talking about how much they like the product, and it substantiates the claim that the face mask that they're selling actually works and does what it says it does. The next thing that's really important is to actually demonstrate your product and educate the consumer, as well as deal with any concerns that they might have before they need to buy your product. So with many products, again, people are just skeptical by nature, so they're going to have a lot of questions and concerns about why your product might not work for them, or why this might not work in general. And so you must be able to answer most questions your consumer has before they purchase your products. And the way you try to understand what questions you need to answer is perhaps looking at your frequently asked questions in your reviews. What do customers typically reach out to you for, and then you can start to understand what questions you need to answer. Another way you educate the consumer is about educating about the ingredients. Another version of this is obviously if you have a product that's quite technical, you need to show how people can use the products, and I have an example for you here that's going to show this really well. Even just showcasing the unboxing experience, demonstrating the product, makes the consumer a lot more familiar with the brand, and familiarity can always be, it's a form of rapport that the consumer will have with your brand, and it makes it a lot easier for that customer to actually justify the purchase. Okay, so a few examples of this. This is a really good example of how they're able to demonstrate the product, and so I'll speak on it after I play the ad. Okay, again, they do a really brilliant job with demonstrating the product right here, and this is a must for this brand because the product they're selling is quite technical. Obviously, it's part of the electrical socket, so a lot of people just feel like they don't have the expertise to install something like that, so they make a huge effort and emphasis on how to install the product and how easy it is without any electrical knowledge in the ad. And again, for many products, that's really important, the ability to demonstrate and educate the consumer. Our next example is from a shaving brand. Again, they want to address the main concerns consumers have for the product before they go ahead and buy it. And that also goes into understanding your consumer on a deep level. What do they care about? Do they have environmental concerns? Do they care about what ingredients are in your product? Whatever the case may be.
Is your razor plastic free? It is. 100% metal, actually. Does it get a close shave? Oh yeah, the pivoting tab helps with that. How do you install the blades? Just like this. Is it easy to use? You bet. Simple, sustainable, and loved by thousands.
So again, very simple and easy ad right here. They've answered the top 3 or 4 questions that customers have about the product, and that's going to allow the consumer to again feel a lot more comfortable with going ahead and making the purchasing decision. The next thing I want to talk about here is the use of hooks, trends, content trends, as well as humor, and essentially all that revolves around creating engaging content. One thing you always need to keep in mind when you're looking to advertise on Facebook and Instagram, and I talk about this quite a bit, is that people are not on there with the primary intention of shopping or finding out about new products. They're on there to catch up with friends. A lot of people are on there to look at memes. A very large percentage of the consumed content on Facebook and Instagram involves humor, especially if you have a younger audience for your product or brand. You really want to try to incorporate these sort of content trends, whatever you see on TikTok, whatever you see on the Instagram Explore page, you want to incorporate that in your ads, and you're going to get much higher engagement. So a very quick example of this is this ad right here. I believe this is by Glow, and they create this kind of meme structure of the ad, and it allows them to introduce the brand in a very unique way. Okay, so you get the general idea. She goes ahead and then demonstrates the product, but you notice how they introduce the ad by using this kind of very kind of familiar type of piece of content that you'd see a lot on TikTok and on Instagram, and so people within their target audience are really going to resonate and engage with that sort of content. The last element of a Facebook ad that makes it convert and kind of how it plays on consumer psychology as well is the overall aesthetic as well as the branding of the ad and the brand itself, as well as, I thought I'd add this in there, as well as the brand recognition element of a Facebook ad. So starting with the brand recognition side of things, just seeing a brand that you've already heard of from an influencer and then being targeted by them. Especially if you're pretty much already sold on the product and the influencer has done most of the selling, he's shown the features, the benefits, just being able to recognize that brand and remembering to go ahead and purchase one of the products that you are interested in is going to work well. And that's going to work a lot better for brands who have a very, very large following and large audience, where just being able to recognize the brand alone is enough to get to people to convert. On the aesthetic side of things, again, I can speak from personal experience on this. When I'm able to resonate with the overall look and the aesthetic of the brand in terms of the packaging, the photography that they're using, even the overall layout of their Instagram page, the website, I really like to consume products that look really good. And so that's also really important for me as a consumer, and it's important to a lot of consumers, especially with brands within fashion, luxury, accessories, fragrance, home decor, where the aesthetic is a very large selling point of the product. You really want to highlight that within your Facebook ads, and it's going to make a tremendous difference. So examples of this, I have two examples for you right here. One is this desk mat kind of accessory that I actually really like. It's kind of a leather desk mat that you have, and it makes your desk look a lot better. It also works as a mouse tracking pad, if you will, and you can see here he's just trying to highlight in the ad what the mat looks like, what it looks like with different desk setups, and how aesthetic it looks. So again, he does list, the ad does list some of the benefits as well, but for me, when I saw this ad, I actually saw this ad and saved it. When I first saw this ad, the thing that stood out to me was just the way it looked on the desk. I thought it looked really, really clean, and I thought I wanted to add it to my overall work setup and desk setup. On the right is another ad that I really like by a brand I follow called Cole Buxton. They are a fashion brand based out of the UK, and again, very simple image ad right here, but again, people who are into street fashion, streetwear are going to resonate with their aesthetic, are going to stop scrolling when they see an ad like this. They're going to want to find out more about the pants, the way it's dressed, the Air Forces, whatever the case may be, and that's going to be enough to convert people. So with fashion, luxury, you don't want to cheapen the brand by using too many mass marketing tactics, using too much social proof. It may cheapen the overall aesthetic of the brand. Instead, you want to highlight the aesthetic image of the brand as much as possible within the advertisement. So it's been quite a long video, and if you're still watching, I do thank you for your attentiveness, and I hope that you found this valuable. But just to summarize what we've talked about today, we started by understanding that marketing psychology is almost a prerequisite to creating powerful campaigns, being able to understand what is it that makes people actually convert on Facebook ads, what is it about Facebook ads that intrigue people, get them off the platform and wanting to buy your product. The first thing we talked about is just your product being able to solve a problem, and more importantly, your ability to speak to that pain point. How are you able to kind of grab attention and speak to that pain point specifically, and being specific about that pain point is really important. The next thing we talked about is social proof. People are skeptical by nature, so you want your advertisement to be believable by incorporating a lot of trust. If you have any PR campaigns, incorporate those. If you have customer reviews, user-generated content, just making the consumer trust and believe the brand. Third is demonstration and educating the consumer and addressing their concerns. Again, a lot of people, the barrier to entry before they buy your products is just all the questions and concerns that they need to be addressed. And if you're able to address them within the Facebook ads, instead of making them go to the website and try to dig for that information themselves, that's going to work wonders with the overall conversion rate on your Facebook advertising. Fourth thing is the humor and content trends. Actually being able to create native content that's engaging is going to work really well on a platform like Facebook and Instagram. And finally, the aesthetic, the branding. People are just attracted to things that look great. So if you're a fashion brand, you're a luxury brand, and aesthetic is part of your unique selling proposition, then you want to highlight that as much as possible in the ad. So I do hope you enjoyed the video. Again, this is a little bit of a longer one and a little bit more detailed, so I do hope you found it valuable. This is by no means an exhaustive list of all of the kind of things that make a Facebook ad convert. So if you do have more ideas on what you think we could have included in this list, feel free to leave a comment below, and we'll be happy to hear from you. And again, if you are looking for more content on paid advertising, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.